Hello everybody, it's Gus. I'll be voicing the video today. Bulldozer Man is in a disturbed state at the moment, so he's unable to voice the video himself. Plus he has to save his vocal cords for another video. Oh, Twitter. Poor, miserable, depressed Twitter. How far the mighty have fallen. What was once the pinnacle of the world of social media, now reduced to a laughing joke that everyone associates with a miserable hate group that forever tainted their image by attacking Scott Cawthon. Honestly, it's kind of depressing to see, really. Twitter used to be a fun, wholesome place where people could get together to talk about various things without worry of Facebook's government spies looking over our shoulders at everything. Seriously, Facebook is like if VPNs and site tracking blocking software like DuckDuckGo were made illegal in the United States. Twitter was the release we needed, to be able to talk about whatever we wanted, whenever we wanted, without someone watching us from the shadows.
Have you been spying on me? Aren't you the naughty little boy?
When I first learned of the website, it was back in 2010, right around the time they were getting ready to change their logo to include the little bird icon we all now associate with the site, or rather, used to associate with the site. Back then, Twitter was very peaceful and welcoming. While there was the occasional meathead here and there, nothing was wrong with the site. It was genuinely an amazing place to be, not to mention a great place to chat with my fellow gamers about the latest hits at the time. But then, everything changed. The moderation of the site began to fail, the wholesome communities began to move out, and in their place, toxicity began to rise. It was a time of change for Twitter, and it was a change that left a sour taste in my mouth. Of course, around this time, I was too busy living life to the fullest. So I ended up putting Twitter down for a while, figuring the site would sort itself out in due time and be back to its old, wholesome self by the time I came back.
I'll come back later.
Now, as we all know, I have trust issues. A lot of trust issues. Between being betrayed by friends and family, having my older sibling turn into a crime-committing machine, and being approached by a man that at first I thought was a good person, but later chased away when I learned he was a monster, then watched him die in 2017 for the evils he committed. It's no wonder I choose not to trust anyone anymore. But one of the few people I did trust at the time was a man I referred to as Johnson. If you read my upcoming book, that name will sound very familiar. We lost contact when I moved out of Central Arizona, but one of the last things he ever said to me was, "Whatever you do, stay away from Twitter. It's a den of evil, filled with demons so evil, hell itself spat them out. Once they get their claws in you, they'll never let go, no matter what." And a warning very similar to this would be later repeated to me sometime before the coronavirus pandemic started up. You all know where I'm going with this. Mark and Jessica. Once my closest friends, now I don't know what to make of them. They stood by my side, protected me from danger, and had my back when things got harsh. The three of us were tighter than Tom Sawyer and Huckleberry Finn. But then Twitter came along. You guys already know what happened to them, so I won't bother going into detail about it again. And it doesn't matter how many times I repeat it, those fat, ugly, and stupid pricks on Twitter won't listen to me anyway. So blah, 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 crap. Bad things happened. One of them committed suicide, the other went into hiding, though still maintained contact with me for a while, until he died to lung cancer in 2024. Needless to say, losing my two best friends in the whole wide world, and the fact I was kept in the dark about what they were doing that caused everyone to chase them away. I went completely and utterly batshit insane, and I made a decision to take revenge against Twitter, and that's exactly what I did. I won't disclose what happened, but suffice it to say, the once glorious site suffered a massive blow to its very foundation.
You're dead to me.
Of course, only afterwards did I discover that partaking in a full-scale assault on Twitter and speaking out about it afterwards on this channel put me in the firing line of cancel culture, who have shown up on the channel more than once to cause trouble. Both times they were beaten back, partly thanks to them using a dislike bot to spam dislikes on the videos, and Google shutting that bullshit down because they don't allow bots on this site. Thankfully, not everybody on Twitter was a complete and utter monster. There were a handful of more civilized folks who reached out to me with evidence of what my two friends were doing. And when I learned what my friends did, I was horrified. How could they betray my trust like this? How could they go behind my back, do all these awful things with Twitter's roleplay community, and leave me in a compromised position? I couldn't believe it. I felt sick to my stomach. Now, since then, I have publicly apologized for defending my former and late friends. What they did was wrong, very wrong, and you better believe that if they were still alive today, I'd be grilling them about it as we speak. But it still doesn't erase the fact that you, Twitter, kept me in the dark about what was going on until after I'd caused irreparable damage to the site and set it on a slow but painful train ride to its death. And rightfully so, you were chewed out for that, including by my fans, and made to get the hell out until you straightened out your behavior. Which you never did. Instead, you looked for even more reasons to attack me, accuse multiple innocent people of being alts of mine, some of whom have had to go into counseling, rather than focusing on bettering yourselves as people. And look where it's gotten you. 2 failed attacks on my YouTube channel in a row, while your site continued to crumble into the ground by that moron Elon Musk.
Why don't some of my best friends tell me these things?
Now, I will admit, you, cancel culture, have done some good in your brief stint here on planet Earth. You did get rid of some very powerful and dangerous figures, including that little Celebeth bitch who went behind my back and used one of my characters for one of her videos without my consent, then got pissy at me when I confronted her about it afterwards. I ended up having to deal with her personally with a few well-placed copyright and community guidelines strikes, which ultimately got her channel and account terminated. I thank you for that one. That was indeed pretty screwed up. But you also have to admit, you did a lot of bad in this world. It's not even the fact you came after me that I'm angry about. No, it's the fact you went after an innocent man who was just trying to live his life. Scott Cawthon, creator of the Five Nights at Freddy's series.
Oh boy, here we go.
I mean, really, go back and look at the reports over that situation. Just look at them for a second. Harassment, death, and violence threats, and even doxing the man and his innocent family, including children? Really? And you claim to be protecting kids from bad people, yet you went and threatened a man's wife and kids because he donated to Republican candidates. There's a word for that. It's called a hypocrite. Look it up sometime. But then again, you guys don't really care for the facts, do you? You're just like all those major news organizations. You get incorrect or misleading information, refuse to listen to the truth, twist the story until it's unrecognizable, and then you go crazy with it until everyone believes it to be true, then drop the hammer on anyone who tries to prove you wrong. Fun fact of the day, Twitter is the #1 leader of misleading and inaccurate information on the internet today, and you have done nothing to help the situation. You only made it worse.
Just trying to help.
Then help us. Don't help us.
And if you can believe it, it gets better. Twitter has next to no moderation today, if any, and as a result, illegal and explicit content is now allowed to run wild on the site. So much so, YouTubers literally could not make videos about it fast enough. And it's still ongoing today. And what has cancel culture, the one group who could possibly put an end to it, been doing all this time? Wasting their time going after innocent people like Scott Cawthon and myself. Once again, bravo. You wasted your time attacking people who weren't actually harming anybody and allowed your home base to reach the point where it's been under constant investigation for the spread of illegal content for the past 2 years, when you could have turned around and focused your efforts on Twitter itself to prevent all of this. Warriors of social media right here, ladies and gentlemen. And given how long this has been going on, cancel culture has no excuse or a scapegoat to run to. They have had years to learn about this illegal content that's harming their site and shut it down. But it's only now that they're being directly confronted about it, that they suddenly care about saving their own asses. And I talked to people on Blue Sky and other sites about this. Criminal investigators, doctors, psychiatrists, even former Twitter staff members. And they have all come forward with evidence about what Twitter users are really doing, what they're really seeing, what they're really protecting. I won't show any of it here, because I don't want the video to get taken down. But believe it, it's not a pretty sight. And it honestly makes me wonder how these monsters can sleep at night. And considering the fact that the possibility exists that Twitter, as a whole, could get banned in the EU over all of this, it speaks volumes for how deep this rabbit hole really goes. There's probably 20 layers of corruption below the surface that nobody's even seen, but I'm hoping will come to light if the EU manages to dig anything else up. So I suppose to wrap things up, I'm not the one who did anything wrong here, cancel culture. You are. You tarnished and demolished your site's reputation to the point of no return. Toxicity is running rampant in the streets. Illegal content is threatening to get the site banned from half the planet. And instead of focusing on fighting that corruption, you're choosing to focus your efforts on innocent people who, honestly and truthfully, only want to make people smile and make the world a better place. It's not my moral code that's amiss here, as you claim it to be. It's your moral code. And how you're going to deal with it after Twitter is dead and gone is entirely up to you. But know this, with the way the site is crumbling to dust around you as we speak, with its value dropping like a rock and how it's been banned in no less than 4 countries in the last 3 years alone, I no longer have any sympathy or remorse for any of you. The misinformation, the toxicity, the harassment, the tarnished reputation across the internet, you could have stopped this, and you didn't. You wasted your time on the wrong cause. Now all that's left to do is to sit back, grab a bag of popcorn, and watch your poor world die. I may regret attacking Twitter years ago for the wrong reason, but one thing I will never regret is starting this long train ride to hell. Because honestly and truthfully, in a world where 9 out of 10 experts agree, cancel culture is a plague that needs to be eradicated. The world would be better off without Twitter and the toxic community it gave birth to.
Your words are as empty as your soul. Mankind ill needs a savior such as you.
And know this, once Twitter is gone, it is arrogance to think you're going to be welcomed elsewhere. Blue sky? They'll throw your asses out to the wolves, because 90% of it is made up of people who went there to get away from Twitter, and it's bullshit. YouTube? You already saw how poorly that ended, on top of the fact that everybody here hates your guts. Facebook? Ha 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 ha. Don't make me laugh. So really, I must ask, where exactly are you going to go once you lose your home? Where? Where can you go that will tolerate your bullshit and not kick your asses out for spreading misinformation the way you did on Twitter?
Why do you do this? You're so stupid! Stupid, stupid, stupid! Oh, and let's not forget, you're so stupid!
Thanks for watching this video and listening to my rant, guys. I'm sorry I had to once again post about these clueless nincompoops who can't get a clue. But as a wise retired Army Ranger once said, I'm a fucking idiot, doo-dah, doo-dah. There truly is no cure for stupidity. I just hope that once these morons lose their primary base of operations, they'll finally get a clue that maybe, just maybe, they screwed up somewhere along the lines. I'll be back with more quality videos soon enough. Until then, take care and stay safe.
Oh, what a touching moment we have here.
All spoiled thanks to your interruption. Why don't you do us all a favor and leave before the audience gets pissed off?
I've sent my right hand to dispose of you.
Your right hand comes off?
Say whatever you please. Die, you worm!